after we have a chance to see
Right.
it.
And then I think, didn't I also hear Rue will have his own show on something? I don't remember what it was, though.
I feel like mostly I've just been watching a lot of season finales and in a couple of cases, series finales of a couple of shows.
Right.
I haven't seen the series finale of The Americans yet, but hopefully we'll get to that this weekend because I had a couple episodes stacked up on my TiVo, but I got those caught up. So I just need to watch the finale. And then what's the other show that ended? It was super memorable, apparently, even though I'm pretty sure I bawled through part of it. So, because that happens when shows that I enjoy go away. But yeah. And then, so where did my notes go? I have notes so that I don't have to remember everything. So I have been watching a little bit of Netflix. Crime Writers On podcast was going to be talking about Evil Genius, which is a true crime documentary type thing. So I decided to watch it. It's only 4 episodes. It's not really, and I don't even think any of them is an hour long. So it was pretty quick, something to watch last weekend. I'm not sure how I felt about it, but it was a really interesting story that I think is worth checking out, especially since it's not a huge time commitment. But yeah, it was just one of those. It was a story I don't know that I was familiar with at all, where you start off very quickly learning that there was someone who was actually, well, how he got into the situation might be in question, but he ended up having a bomb strapped to him. He robbed a bank. He got stopped by police, and then the bomb went off while he's stopped in the street. And it was like reporters were there and stuff. So, so there is film of this having happened. So, it was just sort of like, that's where you start. And then you learn the story is unraveled over these episodes. So it's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it in the end, but it wasn't too bad for a low time commitment type thing. And then that one, after I finished watching that, my TiVo said to watch Safe, which I did, which was, I think it was about 8 episodes. It's a fictional story. And now I watched this like a whole week ago now, so I don't remember a lot of the details, but I definitely recommend it. A lot of people, I think some other people on the like Facebook group for Crime Writers On had mixed feelings about it, but I thought it was super compelling. I had a really hard time going to bed Saturday night because I just kept watching episode after episode, but I'm like, I have to go to bed because like every episode ends in a cliffhanger. Oh. But it's a newer show, and it has the actor's name is escaping me, but the guy who played Dexter.
Oh yes, yes.
But it's set in the UK. He has an accent, which, as far as I could tell, was just fine. And it has the actress who played Mrs. Watson on the BBC Sherlock.
Okay.
Amanda Abington, I think is her name. Her name I can remember, but Dexter, even though I've seen him in other shows, his name escapes me completely. And, some other folks, some of whom looked sort of familiar and some of whom didn't, but it sort of revolves around how did this kid drown at a party kind of thing. And
okay.
It's a fascinating interwoven story. I definitely recommend that. It was super interesting, super compelling, especially if you have time to binge an 8-hour, or I don't remember I think they were around an hour an episode. So if you have time to like binge the whole 8 episodes, you're in good, I don't know what I'm trying to say there. This is going to be great. I love when I'm not prepared to talk about something as well as I thought I was. It's like, at least I wrote down the name of the show.
Right.
But yeah, I think the part that was difficult for me was that I had to stop watching after 4 episodes so I could get some sleep.
You're like, damn it.
Functional the next day. But I did watch the other 4 episodes like as soon as possible on Sunday because I just needed to know how the story ended. So, and then after that, Netflix told me to watch The Crown. So I watched a few episodes of that. So yeah, my wife's been watching that one. So far, so good. It's really, I don't know a ton about, I'm not really necessarily, I'm not someone who got up to watch the royal wedding. It's all fine and well. It's just not something that I'm super into. and I never really have been, even though I have British roots. It's just I don't know if I really totally understand it, but I still think from a historical point of view, I'm still sort of interested in, like Elizabeth and sort of all of that stuff and her family and stuff like that. So, and I mean the movie, which I cannot remember the name of, but her father was the main character. I think it was like an Oscar-winning performance, if memory serves. But when he had to take over from his brother after he abdicated and stuff, it was like all that stuff of it, the historical perspective of it is fun. Some of the sort of social events and stuff like that I maybe don't care so much about. But so anyway, I've only seen, I think, about 4 episodes, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting back to that after my TiVo and I are on better terms. So like it's always, and because I'm going to be out of town for a few days. And so I need to make sure that my TiVo isn't super full, so that there's plenty of room to record things while I'm gone. Because I think So You Think You Can Dance starts this coming week. And but I did finally start watching American Horror Story Roanoke.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because that one's saved on my TiVo, so that meets the needs of clearing off space on my TiVo. I'm not sure I really am totally following what's going on, but that's okay. That seems to be true pretty much of every season.
How far into it are you?
I think 2 or 3 episodes.
Okay. Do you want me to explain what they're trying to do?
I mean, I understand what Roanoke is.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's just sort of, those stories are weird.
It's like they're like doing a TV show.
Oh.
So they're showing you the reenactments, and then they're having interviews.
That part I understood.
Okay.
Sort of. But it's just I think I maybe dozed off or something and missed something important. And so I was like,
oh, okay.
What are we doing now? Where did Kathy Bates come from?
Oh.
It's just sort of like all of a sudden she's there. I'm like, there's something weird about that whole environment that I'm not sure I totally get.
Okay.
That's okay.
Well, yeah, just wait until they switch then to now it's the actors.
Okay.
Yeah, that one threw me for a little, wait. What? Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I've been watching a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I hope this helps Tammy.
Yeah, right. She always wants to know our stuff. Oh, and who else was I supposed to always? Oh no, that was my friend Rita. That was if I do live, Facebook Live stuff. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've been really watching. I've been just trying to catch up with Supergirl and The Good Fight and what's the other one? Oh, Madam Secretary's been really good. I think that's mainly been it. Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, they're good. So I wanted to tell you that I found some interesting genealogical links. Somebody had messaged me through a DNA match through one of my kids. And they were asking if I knew her haplogroup. And I'm like, I don't, because we haven't tested for that. But then I was reading an article when I was doing searches that there is a site, as far as I know right now, it's a Y only. I think there's a mtDNA one, but you can't do it from Ancestry. You have to do it from one of the other sites' raw data. Okay. But you can take your raw data from Ancestry because there's actually, they said, a lot of stuff in there that Ancestry just doesn't use. Yeah. And so it can predict kind of what your Y haplogroup might be. So I was doing that. So I have that link. But then they were telling me about this article also mentioned oh God, and I'm not Prometheus. I don't know.
Prometheus.
Yeah. And how you could take your data and it can kind of give you an idea of like your medical history stuff, or not history, but potential.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
But I've never tried it.
I did. I uploaded. It is $12 for a report. And I did 3 reports, one for me, one for my sister, and one for my mom, because I wanted to see the comparisons between us to see how accurate it might be. And one of the things it did say is, I have like 2 times more probability of getting male pattern baldness. And I was like, did not know that, considering I have no hair.
Big shock to you.
So I'm like, this might be accurate. But then it did have some other stuff in there. So I thought that was really interesting. So we're probably going to take the other tests we have and slowly do that over time too. But the Haplo one was interesting because it gives you a grid and you have to look for certain segments because they like color code them green and red. And you have to find groupings, like they break down the Haplo groups, and you have to find where you have the most green with no red. And then that's probably what your Haplo group will end up being.
Okay.
So that was an interesting thing to do. That one was free. You just have to upload your data to it. But yeah.
Sometimes it might be interesting to try that out because, like, I do know my mitochondrial haplo group because I've done that testing. But it'd be interesting to see if it matches up.
Yeah. And the other side that I couldn't do for the mtDNA haplo group, you need data from like 23andMe, something else. And Ancestry was not one of them. So I'm like, oh, well, I've only done Ancestry so far, so I can't do this. But
sure.
But it was kind of interesting. So
yeah.
And you've gotten pens lately.
I've gotten pens. So should I start from the beginning?
Yes.
Okay. So, I kind of got you, Bert, into bullet journaling.
Yep.
I don't remember exactly how I first learned about bullet journaling, but it seemed really interesting because it's sort of a way to combine sort of all the things into one thing. Like, I was kind of doing a task list maybe on my phone and then Google Calendar and whatever, but I wasn't always remembering stuff.
Right.
And for me, the act of writing is really important. Like, it helps me remember stuff. It doesn't mean I do it, but it does mean I remember it better.
Yeah. Well, and I think for me, what I liked about bullet journaling, because like I always wanted to journal and keep a journal, but the idea of writing in it every day and, writing my entire day in one sitting or whatever, just I could never do that. I didn't have not patience, but the motivation to keep doing that. But what I liked about the bullet journal is that you just kind of wrote down your items that you did as tasks or little thoughts or whatever throughout the day, so that when you were done, essentially you had like a journal that had all your information of what you did, when you did it, any thoughts, any, whatever you wanted to put in there. So, and I got to make it pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. So there were a lot of things that I like about the concepts of bullet journaling, but I've done it for the past. I tried it in the past a little bit, and then I really got into it about 2 years ago, and I did okay for the remainder of 2016, and I did 2017. But and some people love this, but I do not love setting up stuff, and I need to be able to set up stuff in advance because I need to be able to say on August 4th, I need to go to this thing, and I want to have a place where I can write that down.
Right.
Now, not when I finally get around to setting up the page for that week or however, usually I prefer in bullet journaling, I prefer to see a week at a time because I need to get it, I don't actually need to for my own personal stuff. That's just the only way I can make bullet journaling work for me. I was just through 2017, I was just struggling to keep up with getting my pages set up even before that week started, let alone in advance, so I could put stuff in ahead. Last fall, I had really done some searching for trying to find sort of some planner that would be set up but have the flexibility to do bullet journal type stuff in it, and I just could not find anything, and it drove me crazy. So I started a new 2018 bullet journal, and just like before, it's like I kind of started off gung-ho with I created a new layout for myself that I really actually like, but I was still struggling with getting those pages set up in advance, even though it was relatively simple. I just don't like that part. Like, it's just not the fun part for me. So one day I kind of have gotten into pencils, and I don't remember if we've talked about that, but sort of as a side track to that, I was looking at jetpens.com to see what kind of pencils they carry. And at the bottom of the page, there was a link that said something about like a guide to the Hobonichi planners. And I said, Hobonichi planners, what are those? I need to go check that out. So I read through this thing and I watched this video, and I'm like, those are really interesting planners because they are set up to be, it's sort of apparently sort of a Japanese concept to have it be a planner / journal / whatever you want it to be. And so they have some different types of journals, but the one I got it's an A6 size, so it's smaller than